Hello everyone, my name is Franco. We are gonna do the assignment number 2 in corporation law. Our member group is Isha, Menuka, Baron, and Sumi. So we are going to talk about the case of Haley versus ASIC. The first part I'm going to talk about the directors of the companies. So a director is an essential component of corporation governance. Each director is placed at the apex of the structure of directors and management of company. The higher the office held by person, the greater in responsibility they fall on him or her. The role of a director is significant as their action may have a profound effect on the community, and not just shareholders, employees, and creditors. Under the Corporation Act 2001, anyone who is over 18 years old and not disqualified can be a director of any companies. So Isha is gonna continue with the introduction part.
Thanks, Franco. As Franco talked about the directors, so is it appropriate that there will be no qualifications for directors? Should there be different requirements for directors of property companies and directors of public companies? Corporations Act 2001 stipulates that directors must satisfy a minimum age requirement of 18 years and are ineligible for appointment if they are disqualified from managing corporations. This qualifies a large proportion of the Australian population. Nonetheless, it is inappropriate that there will be no qualifications for directors. The corporate form should be available to everyone. The onerous obligations imposed on directors set a high benchmark for Australian directorship. To require positive qualifications would disqualify many competent directors. Qualifications would be inappropriate in many businesses contexts because the skills required of directors are specific to the corporation. Now my two of the friends gonna continue with the other part.
Thank you, Isa. Thank you, Franco. So, continuing with my part, I'm going to be talking about the breaches. It goes like this. ASIC's case against the directors and office of Central was based on a breach of the provisions of the Australian Corporations Act 2001. So the first breach, a breach of directors and officers' duty of care and diligence, which is in section 180, part 1 of the Australian Corporations Act 2001. Now the second breach of the directors and officers' statutory duties in relation to taking reasonable steps to ensure the financial statements are prepared in accordance with the provisions of the Australian Corporation Act 2001, which is in section 344 part 1, and the final breach, the last one, a breach of directors and officers' duty to take all steps that a reasonable person would take if such a person was in the directors or officers' position to ensure compliance with the Australian Corporations Act 2001, which is in section 601 part 3. Now Bhairav is going to be continuing the part.
Thank you, Menuka. Finally, it is like that ASIC will be satisfied with the outcome of the central case as it provided clear and unequivocal signal to the directors, even though Justice Milton considered ASIC's request penalties to be too harsh. While the case did not provide any clarity on the application of Section 189 of Australian Corporation Act 2001, it is reasonably certain that all Australian directors got a wake-up calls that could be potentially be serious consequences if they do not make any informed decision. We also think that all board of public companies will have hard and serious discussion with their auditors, their auditing committee, their CEO and their CFOs. Now Sumi is going to continue with the conclusion.
The implications of qualification for directors would be significant. A realistic balance must be established between measures necessary to promote corporate activity and measures necessary to protect the bona fide shareholders, workers, consumers, financiers, and the public at large. 49. It is unnecessary for the law to require directors to have a professional qualification, as the quality of a corporate governance in Australia is high and commensurate with international standards. Qualification for directors would prove costly to the corporate sector and the general public. We predict that Australian boards will take particular care in future to ensure that they get actual assurance from those they rely on for advice and information. To this end, we believe that ASIC would be satisfied that the greater good of corporate governance was served. Thank you.
Thank you very much.